here's a spot where a grouse was walking. It pooped, and then it came over here, and look at those wing tracks. It took off. Cool. Hey guys, it's me, Isabel. I'm down in Peru, Vermont, visiting my dad, and I'm out on my skis. I just heard a tree fall down, but I'm out on my skis, and I came out to a beaver meadow. And fun fact, beavers are my favorite animal, so today I'm going to tell you all the reasons why. So if you look around here, see how all the trees in the background are these big coniferous trees? And a conifer means cone bearing. So most trees that are conifers are also evergreens, which are the just big green trees back there. But then you'll notice where I'm standing, it's nice and clear here, and there are a bunch of small deciduous trees. So a tree is deciduous if it decides to lose its leaves. So deciduous decide, that's how I like to remember it. These trees lose their leaves in the wintertime. These particular ones are called alders. And they really like growing in wet areas. And a nice way to identify them in the wintertime is that they have these catkins all winter. And these will open up in the spring and spread pollen because they're wind pollinated trees. But so these are alders. So thing one to notice here is that beavers, when they cut down trees and build a dam, they disrupt the landscape, and they make it so that instead of just having a big coniferous forest all over the place, we get this beautiful opening in the forest, which is a really nice piece of land for a bunch of animals who live in the forest because it's something different. It's a different place to live and thrive. So a large animal, which I think might be a moose based on the size of the tracks, right? You want to look left foot to left foot to figure out the kind of length of the body. And anyways, these tracks are a little filled in, but a moose, this could possibly be a deer or a different big walker. It's hard to tell, but just look at the ease of traveling through the forest here versus being in a dense coniferous forest. So a lot of animals will use old beaver meadows as kind of, they're nice kind of animal highways. You see a lot of tracks through them just because it's such ease of traveling. Look, here's our intersection with a different animal. All sorts of tracks in here. So I'm currently standing on a snowshoe hare highway. Okay, and so snowshoe hares will, they'll use the same little kind of highway all winter long, and they'll get it nicely packed down so it's easier for them to stay up on top of the snow. But check out these tracks. So this snowshoe hare is going this way towards me back here. Because look, 2 little feet, 2 forefeet, and then the hind feet swing in front, and those land, and then it bounces. Look at the size of that thing. So this is what I said early in the episode about hoppers, right? Sometimes people see squirrel tracks and they're like, oh, I think it's a snowshoe hare. Snowshoe hare tracks are massive. There's a reason they're called snowshoe hares, and that's because they have incredibly large hind feet because they're really good at staying on top of the snow. Okay, and just look at the size of those tracks. But that's just a beautiful hopper specimen. And remember, it's going this way. So based on the size of these alders that I'm in, I think that this is, it's not an active beaver pond anymore, okay? Because I'm not standing on a pond. But what happens is the beavers will come in to a river that has a lot of, they really like deciduous trees. Alders are some of their favorites, so they'll probably be back here pretty soon at some point. But they'll come in and they'll chew down a bunch of the trees and build a dam so that they have a nice pond to live in, and then they're safe from predators because their beaver dens are up above the water, but in order to get into them, they go swim down into the pond and then up into the den, so it keeps them like really safe from predators on land such as coyotes, because the coyotes aren't going to swim underwater to get into their dens. So anyway, they're called ecosystem engineers because they'll come in and they'll change the ecosystem to something that suits them, like a pond. But then after a few years, they run out of resources. They run out of those deciduous trees, so they have to move up or downstream to find a new spot to build a new dam, but it doesn't just disappear. The coolest thing about them is that over time, those ponds will fill in with soil, and then they'll become new forests of their own, often like this alder forest that I'm standing in, which are just really unique spots in the forest landscape, and they kind of spot around all our New England forests and bring a lot of great ecosystems for other animals. A lot of animals thrive in what we call edge spaces. An edge space is it's an edge. So look, I'm on an edge space right now. There's a coniferous forest right there, and then straight to a nice beaver meadow, okay? And the reason that animals thrive here is that it gives them two different options for food, it gives them two different options for shelter, and it's just much easier to thrive in a space if you have many different options to survive. Look at this animal, came out of the woods and then it leapt across this little stream and then continued forth into the beaver meadow, and you can see that it even came down here onto this little creek. And boy, I guess it wasn't too scared about falling through the ice. But that makes me think maybe I can go on the ice, since my Nordic rock skis definitely have a little more surface area than that animal's paws. One of the other things that beavers provide to a landscape is that, and you can see a couple of them up here in the trees. There were some nice specimens back a little farther, but I forgot to video them. But they'll, when beavers move into a landscape, they'll cut down the deciduous trees, but they'll leave the coniferous trees, the evergreens, because they don't like to eat them, because the, you know, when you like touch a pine tree, it's all sticky. They don't like that on their teeth. So they don't cut down the coniferous trees. And what that means is that when the area floods, those coniferous trees, their roots get flooded, and then the trees die, but they stay standing, and they end up being just incredible habitat for birds especially. So you'll get all these, we call them standing dead snags. And woodpeckers will come in once they've died, and they'll make little cavities in them, and then you'll get all these cavity nesting birds move in. So beavers they do so much for our ecosystems and our biodiversity in New England. So next time you see a beaver meadow, just say, "Thanks, beavers." I'll see you next week, and remember to stay curious out there.